It's something most of us here in the West take for granted, but it's not nearly as unbreakable as we might like to think it is. Here are 5 fragile things about democracy. Number 1, voting access. Abolitionists, suffragists, and their modern successors have all fought to ensure the right to vote is legally guaranteed for all citizens. Yet, in recent years, we've seen the implementation of policies like voter ID laws, the cutting of the number of polling places, as well as the hours of operation of those polling places, the elimination of early voting, all things which have been shown to disproportionately suppress the vote among the poor and people of color. Having the legal right to vote isn't much good if it's too much of a hardship to actually vote. Number 2, fair representation. One of the fundamental principles of democracy is that the results of popular elections should reflect the will of the people. Very often that does not happen, due in large part to the practice of gerrymandering, the drawing of electoral districts for the purpose of favoring one political party. Unlike voter suppression, which has largely been a Republican project, both the Republican and Democratic Party have engaged in extensive gerrymandering, although to their credit, in the last few years, the Democrats have taken a more stridently anti-gerrymandering stance, led by Barack Obama, who has famously described gerrymandering as a process which allows politicians to choose their voters, rather than the other way around. And that's not democracy. That's oligarchy. Number 3, the ability to protest. When the government acts in a way that the people judge to be threatening or illegal or unacceptable in some other way, they must have the right and the opportunity to protest, to make their voices heard, not just on election day, but every day. They must be able to take to the streets, to gather peacefully together, to stop traffic, to make a nuisance of themselves, to create what Martin Luther King Jr. called nonviolent tension that will persuade their fellow citizens and their government of the need for change. When our representatives are no longer listening to us, we have the right, and more than that, the responsibility to shout so loud that they will have no choice but to hear us. In times like these, where, in the opinion of many of us, the will of the people has been thwarted at the ballot box, protest, big, loud, public, repeated, unceasing protest, is the best defense democracy has. Well, that, and number 4, a free and independent press. There's a reason Donald Trump treats journalists like his enemies. They are his enemies. And if they aren't, they're not doing their jobs. When government officials lie and obfuscate and obstruct and mislead in order to cover their crimes or conceal their true intentions, the press must discover and report the truth. A healthy democracy depends on an informed electorate, and that cannot exist if the only source of information the people have about the government is the state-approved official story. The Trump administration has been doing scary stuff since it came into power, but nothing should scare us more than its attempts to undermine the press as fake news. When there is no alternative source to state propaganda, it becomes impossible to truly have, number 5, government of the people. That's really what this is all about. We want a society that is governed by a balance of popular will and a rule of law that outlines the limitations and responsibilities of citizens and their government. We want a political process where every citizen can participate, where everyone can vote, can protest, can run for office, can serve in government. We want what Abraham Lincoln described in the Gettysburg Address: government of, by, and for the people. But that doesn't happen by itself. It is a product of our making, and it requires constant care and maintenance. Eternal vigilance is not only the price of liberty, it's the price of everything that makes liberty possible. The hardest part is picking only 5. Catch you next time. Hey folks, hope you found this one worthwhile. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And also please consider helping me to make more videos like this one by supporting this channel through Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/Steve Shives to become a patron. Thanks for watching.